Rhea Ripley on a possible new romantic storyline with Buddy Matthews in WWE. Rhea Ripley and Ripley-Mysterio were once one of WWE's most compelling and dominant on-screen pairs. Their dynamic was unique, unpredictable, and emotionally layered, something fans gravitated toward instantly. For months, they were inseparable on screen, with Ripley often playing a powerful enforcer to Dominic's cunning, cocky persona. Together, they helped strengthen the Judgment Day as one of the most formidable factions in WWE, making them a major highlight of WWE television. But their run came to a shocking halt at SummerSlam 2024, when Dominic Mysterio turned on Rhea Ripley in one of the most unexpected betrayals in recent WWE history. In a moment that stunned fans and commentators alike, Dominic assisted Liv Morgan in defeating Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. That alone would have been enough to spark chaos. But it didn't stop there. Right after the match, Dominic kissed Liv Morgan in front of a devastated Ripley, leaving the Eradicator in tears. The moment marked a dramatic turning point not only in the storyline, but also in the way fans perceived Dominic's relationship with Ripley. Since that emotional fallout, fans have been speculating endlessly about Ripley's future in WWE, both as a performer and potentially as part of another on-screen romance. Recently, Rhea Ripley sat down with Alan Owens Wrestling for an in-depth interview, where she opened up about her past storyline with Dominic Mysterio, her thoughts on possibly doing another romantic angle, and the critical role her husband Buddy Matthews plays in her life and career. During the conversation, Ripley was asked whether she would consider doing another on-screen romantic storyline in the future. Her response was thoughtful and reflective, indicating just how much her angle with Dominic had meant to her, not only as a performer but as a storyteller. She admitted that she never expected to be involved in a romantic angle in WWE in the first place. If someone had asked her before it all began, she would have said it was unlikely. But when it finally happened, the chemistry between her and Dominic felt right. It felt natural. It worked. Ripley explained that it's difficult to predict what the future might hold. There are so many moving parts in professional wrestling, so many opportunities that come and go unexpectedly. She said she genuinely didn't know if her husband, Buddy Matthews, currently signed with AEW, would ever return to WWE. But if he did, and if the circumstances were right, then maybe they could do something on-screen together. She left the door open, not ruling anything out, and emphasized how unpredictable the wrestling business can be. There was a sense of uncertainty in her words, but also a deep appreciation for how special the storyline with Dominic had been. She acknowledged how well they worked together and described the dynamic they created as something rare. She played the brute force, while Dominic was a sneaky, manipulative one. The contrast made their interactions compelling, and it all came together in a way that didn't feel forced. That's why, she said, she's unsure whether she wants to recreate that energy with anyone else unless it's with her real-life husband. Ripley spoke with honesty, suggesting that her storyline with Dominic was a lightning-in-a-bottle kind of moment, something that may not be easy to replicate. It had developed so organically, with each week building more depth, chemistry, and intrigue. Fans were invested not just because of the drama, but because of how authentic it all felt. Even though the storyline ended in betrayal, the ride was undeniably powerful. She reflected further on the emotional depth of that partnership. Dominic may have betrayed her in the storyline, but behind the scenes, the trust between performers has to be strong to pull off something so convincing. That's why she's hesitant to dive into another on-screen relationship unless it's with someone she already shares a deep level of trust with, like her husband, Buddy Matthews. Ripley explained that trying to manufacture that same chemistry with someone else might not work, and could even feel forced, especially after having created something so genuine with Dominic. This brings the conversation to Buddy Matthews. Known for his impressive in-ring skills and intense work ethic, Matthews is currently part of AEW, which makes any collaboration in WWE uncertain for the moment. However, Ripley didn't shut down the possibility. Instead, she shared her thoughts on how much it would mean to her if he were to return and be part of the storyline with her. It wasn't just about creating good television. It was about sharing a part of her professional life with someone who understands her at the deepest level. She made it clear that Buddy's presence and support in her life aren't just appreciated. They're necessary. In the same interview, Ripley explained how crucial it is to have a spouse who understands the unique, demanding, and often chaotic world of professional wrestling. She described the business as wild, strange, and misunderstood by most people who aren't part of it. Having someone like Buddy, who lived that same life and understands the stress, the travel, and the emotional toll, makes all the difference. Ripley emphasized how valuable it is to be with someone who won't judge her for not being able to respond during work hours, someone who won't take her long absences or emotional exhaustion personally. She said that having Buddy as her partner means she doesn't have to explain herself constantly. He already gets it. That kind of mutual understanding is rare and, in her words, so crucial to her well-being and success. Her comments offer a glimpse into the often unseen emotional weight carried by professional wrestlers. Beyond the bright lights, high-intensity matches, and dramatic storylines lies a very real human experience, one filled with physical exhaustion, emotional strain, and the difficulty of maintaining personal relationships. For Ripley, having Buddy in her corner makes it all a little more manageable. She didn't make any grand declarations about the future. She didn't say she'd never do another romantic storyline, or that Buddy was definitely returning. What she did express was a thoughtful openness to possibility, acknowledging that the wrestling world is unpredictable and full of potential twists. But she also made it clear that whatever happens next, it needs to come from a place of authenticity. Whether it's with Dominic, Buddy, or someone entirely new, Ripley wants it to feel real. She doesn't want to force a story just for the sake of entertainment. It has to work. It has to resonate with the audience and with her. This interview adds another layer of complexity to Rhea Ripley's character and her journey in WWE. She's known for being fierce, dominant, and unrelenting in the ring. But behind that persona is a person who values emotional connection, creative chemistry, and the kind of professional respect that allows great stories to be told. Her reflections show that her work isn't just about championships or rivalries. It's about moments that matter, stories that stick with people, and partnerships that feel meaningful. Her storyline with Ripley-Mysterio was just that, meaningful, and even though it ended in heartbreak, it remains one of the most memorable chapters of her career so far. Whether or not Ripley and Dominic ever cross paths again on screen in the same way, but behind that persona is a person who values emotional connection, creative chemistry, and the kind of professional respect that allows great stories to be told. Her reflections show that her work isn't just about championships or rivalries. It's about moments that matter, stories that stick with people, and partnerships that feel meaningful. Her storyline with Ripley-Mysterio was just that, meaningful, and even though it ended in heartbreak, it remains one of the most memorable chapters of her career so far. Whether or not Ripley and Dominic ever cross paths again on screen in the same way,